A soldier returns from war, broken, paralyzed, and told he will never walk again. But in the waters of Lourdes, something happened that no doctor could explain. Some called it madness. Others called it a miracle.
John Trainer had once been a strong man, a Royal Navy gunner in the First World War. But when he returned from the battlefield, he carried scars deeper than anyone could see. Shell fire had left his body shattered. His right arm was crippled, his legs paralyzed. His hands shook uncontrollably from epilepsy. The doctors who examined him were blunt. "You'll never recover. You'll never walk." He spent years bound to a wheelchair, a prisoner in his own body. But John was stubborn. He refused to surrender to despair, and though science had given him no hope, whispers reached him of a faraway place where the sick were said to find healing, the shrine of Lourdes in southern France. Some called it superstition, some called it legend, but John had nothing left to lose. In 1923, John joined a pilgrimage to Lourdes. The journey was long, grueling, nearly impossible for a man in his state. Fellow travelers had to lift him, carry him, feed him. When they arrived, he watched the crowds, thousands of sick and suffering, each hoping for a touch of heaven. Some prayed, some wept, some left disappointed. For 9 days, John submitted to the baths at Lourdes, where pilgrims are immersed in cold spring water that flows near the grotto where the Virgin Mary was said to have appeared. Each time he was lowered into the water, he prayed with what little strength he had left. "God, if it is your will, heal me." On the 9th immersion, something strange happened. As attendants helped him from the bath, John suddenly felt warmth course through his body. His legs, lifeless for years, began to tingle. His once paralyzed arm twitched. He gasped, startling those nearby. "Stand me up," he whispered. The attendants hesitated. They thought it was impossible. But John insisted. And then, slowly, he stood. On his own. The man who had entered Lourdes in a wheelchair walked out under his own strength. Back home, the news spread like wildfire. Doctors who had long treated him were stunned. His epilepsy had vanished. His paralysis was gone. The medical community demanded answers, but there were none. Reports were written, examinations conducted. Skeptics scoffed, calling it hysteria or delusion. But the evidence was plain. A man who could not walk now walked. For John, there was no mystery. He told anyone who would listen, "God healed me at Lourdes." John Trainer lived many more years, no longer confined to a chair. His life became a living testimony, a reminder that sometimes healing comes not through medicine, but through mystery. The Church would later recognize his cure as a miracle, one of the most documented in the history of Lourdes. But for those who saw him walk again, no declaration was needed. They had witnessed the impossible. And so, in the story of one broken soldier, light shines for us all, that even in our most shattered state, there may yet be a lantern of hope waiting in the darkness. If this story touched you, let its light travel farther. Share it with a friend who needs hope today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Lanes and Lanterns. Each story we tell is another flame raised against the night.